Sportscast presents Hoops Talk, hosted by Alabama basketball legend Erwin Dudley and sportscast contributor Ryan Krista. All basketball, from college basketball to the NBA. Listen to Sportscast Hoops Talk on digital radio, on the app, on your smart speaker, on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch.tv, and Facebook. Sportscast Hoops Talk. Rhythm, debate, layup, and dunk. Sports Talk, Hoops Talk.
Good evening, everybody. It's May 1st, 2022, and welcome to Hoops Talk, presented by the Sportscast. Again, please follow us on all our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you can also download on Apple Podcasts. And if you do, please leave a ratings review. That will help us out tremendously. I am joined by my usual sidekick, Erwin Dudley, and let's get going. How you doing, Erwin?
I'm good, man. Just ready to talk a little basketball. How are you?
Yeah, so we are into about our third week into the NBA playoffs. So we're into the conference semifinals. What are some of your thoughts about the conference quarterfinals as we move into the next round?
Man, I thought that I thought that the playoffs in general, which has been really good. For the Pelicans to take Phoenix, to win a couple games against Phoenix, that was huge. Even though I know they didn't have Devin Booker. But still for them to come in there and do that, and then for a beat up Toronto Raptors team to beat Philly, win a few games against Philly, but then you saw, and I'm sure everybody saw the injury that Joel Embiid he received the elbow from Pascal Siakam, and he's out first. And he's out 1 or 2 games, so that's definitely gonna impact the Miami series. With Embiid out, with him being out, I don't see them winning. The first 2 games, I don't see them winning that at all. With Embiid, I don't even think. I don't have Philly winning the series at all. But with Embiid, I think they'll have more of a. It'll be tougher for Miami. Because Embiid will be a problem for them. But with them not having Embiid, like where do you get the extra scoring from? You have Harden, but now it's time for him to actually step up and for him to be able to kind of lead the team. They brought him in there for moments like this, for him to kind of come in and take over. Golden State, they did what they're supposed to do. They took care of business. So, we're not worried about Golden State. Milwaukee, they took care of business, and they took care of business as well. But coming up today, just today, Milwaukee, they took care of business today. Giannis, he's hard to stop. He's hard, for anybody to stop. He played well. The entire team played well. So in order for Boston, they didn't play that good. Whether it was good defense on good defense on Milwaukee's part or whatever it may be, but they're gonna have to get it together. They did not play well today. Drew Holiday had a typical Sunday game, and they're missing Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton is going to be out, and they still came into Boston and beat them. So it's going to be interesting, and I think that series will possibly go down to 6-7 games easily. Honestly, with Boston being the number one defensive team in the league, it definitely could go down the wire to that. And then if you look at the Golden State, Memphis. Ja missed so Thriller, right? He missed the layup at the end, but they had a chance. But that'll be a good series as well. But I think that I'm not going to give my prediction right now. But I'll wait for later on, but I think it'll be a good series.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's kind of roll it back here. So you talked about, I think one of the things they'll always big in the playoffs is injuries and who's healthiest.
Yep.
Um, we started the playoffs, with Luca being out for the Mavericks, and how that kind of kept the Jazz in the series. And then you look at the injury, but then you look at injury like Chris Middleton. I really thought that would be you know
Yeah.
a huge factor. And I'm not saying it won't be, but I don't. This it just seems like the I was I've said a couple of times in our podcast. It's kind of like the Bucks waiting for the playoffs to happen and kind of turn up that championship intensity that they had last year. And I don't think the Celtics are ready for that today. Um, they brought it to the next level. When the Bucks want to, I don't think they put the mind to that team can grind you out. They can play great defense, and then when on offensively, you put that ball in Giannis Cooper's hands, and he was a playmaker too, not one,
Yeah.
um, not one to get huge assist numbers, but putting up a triple double today, that's huge. 12 3-pointers, got some good bench production, from Grayson Allen points. So, you know, um, this is a solid team effort. Um, by the Bucks, see if they can keep it for. I don't know if it's the Celtics, being overconfident after the sweep of the Nets. I really thought, they'd win both games in Boston. I thought it was going to
Yeah.
be a whole. I thought it was one of the series I looked at. I thought the home team was going to dominate, but now
Yeah.
the pressure's really on Boston to get that game too.
One,
Um,
one thing you mentioned, you said that you thought Chris Middleton, you thought that him being out, you thought that would, that would be a big factor, but it seemed like it wasn't a big factor, because again, you have a team, you have people on your team that steps up and plays, and fills that void like Giannis and Drew Holiday, Bobby Portis made some shine, Grayson Allen. That's the same thing Philly, the people, guys in Philly, need to going to have to do. I mean, they're going to have to. They're going to have to help. They're going to have to add in some extra scoring, or either extra scoring or play some better defense to from scoring. Because at the end of the day, they're losing a lot with Joel Embiid. Rebounding. They're missing. And he can. When they double team, he can pass the ball. I mean, we know he can score the ball. So that's a lot of things that they're going to be missing as a team. And so with that being said, like I said a few minutes ago, that's the reason why Harden is there for him to step up and be able to for him to step up at times like this. I mean, it is pressure on him, but I know you said before, he don't have anything to prove, but yeah, he definitely has something to prove now.
yeah, absolutely. This is why, like you said, why they brought James Harden in. Um, to be that guy, no bigger opportunity than these first two games in Miami to
Yeah,
again, you're not looking to win both of those games. If you can just get one of these games in Miami, give yourself a chance, and hopefully Joel will be back when they get to Philadelphia.
yeah,
You know, yeah, I'm looking, where is his production? Because, in a trade for Harden, they sent over, his backup, Andre Drummond, where are they going to get help from? This, maybe not just even offensively, but defensively. Who's going to go and stop, Bam Adebayo? Controlling him, not just
hmm
scoring, but off the boards. It's going to be an uphill battle for the Sixers to stay in this series, especially if
yep,
Embiid's out for a long period of time. But again, this is why they brought Harden in. This but the Heat, let's go at the end. That's just a solid team. Um,
yeah,
took like kind of a cultural team. We've talked about them being a team. Maybe not any really superstars, but you got very good players in Bam Baggio and Jimmy Butler. Hopefully Kyle Lowry. Who missed a couple of games. You'll see if he's back. For the Heat. So right now we look at definitely advantage for the Heat. With their defense that they bring each day, each game, and that kind of grinded out attitude. So let's move on. To the thrill of this afternoon between the Grizzlies. Who kind of um, took the hard way against the Timberwolves. Each game, 3 games where they fell behind by more than 10 points. That kind of been their mo.
Yeah, they're not gonna be able
Young.
to do that with them against the Warriors.
Yeah, I think that's just the way when you play fast and up tempo. You're gonna play. You can have good moments and bad moments. Uh,
Yeah,
but it was huge. I think for that young team, to get out of that first round. Whether they win or lose against the Warriors, this is just great experience for the young Grizzlies. I really appreciate watching the Grizzlies. I think John Morant's you know fantastic. And they just like I don't think I've ever seen a team rebuild through the draft and just hit on everything. And not just John Morant. Yeah, they hit on him, but Dylan Brooks, Jaren Jackson.
yeah.
Um, they're all young, and they're all Desmond Bain,
Very young, very young.
Brandon Clark. These are all guys they homegrown in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
I mean, it seemed like 5 years ago they were in the playoffs. With Mike Conley and Zach Randolph and Mark Gasol, and they would move. They were able to move on from Mark and Zach, but they had to make a hard decision. When it came to Mike Conley, to let him go and not mash that offer,
yeah,
um, and basically let the bottom drop off, and that's and kind of rebuild from there. But I think Taylor Jenkins is a great coach, building that identity in Memphis. And they went shot for shot, and it wasn't like the Warriors need everything they got. Um,
hmm
to win that game. Today. So I'm really looking for a series. I think Memphis definitely needs to come out with game 2 victory. You don't want to fall 0-2 and then have the San Francisco because that would be tough. But
hmm
if they can steal this next game, in Memphis, we're looking, I think, for a 6 or 7 game series. What's your thoughts on that, Erwin?
I mean, I'm looking at this. Looking at the stats, and man, Jordan Poole is playing out of his mind.
Yeah, absolutely. He cut them in. When Clay and Steph, especially Clay, I think only had 3 points in the first half. But
Man, he's playing out his mind. I mean, if they don't, if nobody finds a way to slow him down, I mean, I understand. Like you can't stop everybody, but you gotta if you gotta try to limit his scoring now because he's the one. I think he's the one that's really driving them. Like you said, when Clay when he went through his slump, he wasn't scoring that many baskets. You had Jordan Poole that stepped up and he made some shots and he carried the team, man. I mean, honestly, I mean he 12 for 20 from the field, 5 for 10 from the 3 point line. I mean, come on, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. He was by far the MVP for the Warriors. Just with the numbers he's putting up, and even just going back to the last series they were in. I mean, he played well then. He was starting, and he came off the bench today, and he lit it up for 31. So if they don't, if Memphis doesn't find a way to slow him down, and just hoping that the other guys um, hoping that Clay and Steph, they don't score as many points as they have. That I mean, I don't see them winning. I don't see Memphis beating the Warriors. Like I mean, I don't see it's no possible way. And I understand, Memphis, they lost, they lost at home today, and they battled back from being down in the other series against the Timberwolves. But this ain't the Timberwolves. Like these are seasoned vets, and they understand what they're doing. They know what they're doing, and they've been down this road before. So in order for them to be able to like I said, for them to even get this next game in Memphis, they're definitely gonna have to slow um, he definitely gonna have to slow him down. Bane is gonna have to play better too. Bane he didn't have a good game. Bane was 1 for 5 from the three, 3 for 10 from the field. So I mean you gotta think or expect that he'll have a better game. He'll have a better game coming up. In the next game. So you have to look at that as well. So we'll see. But again, I'm gonna go out. I'm saying I'm gonna take the Warriors to beat Memphis in this series. I like I said, they're seasoned vets. They've been down this road before, and like I said, I just don't see Memphis. Um, I don't see Memphis having enough to be able to slow them down as far as scoring. And so I'm gonna ride with them. Though. But it'll be an interesting series. But I'm definitely going with the Warriors.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, can't go wrong with there. We'll see what kind of bounce back the Grizzlies have for them in next game. I think an underlying story of this game, if you go on social media, is the double tech that or flagrant two that Draymond Green received in the first half. When when he's not in the game, the Warriors are a different team.
Mm-hmm.
Good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
now you take him out, so you're taking out a defensive you know leader, but you're also putting in a Jordan Poole for a lot more minutes, who's kind of a mismatch. But you lose something on the defensive side of the ball. Um, but that was a big key in the game, and kind of the some tough officiating. It's one of those games.
Yeah.
When you got marquee game, everybody's watching. On Sunday afternoon, there's some borderline calls. And it seemed actually, if you want to point at a lot of calls will actually win the Grizzlies away. So it could be a tough outcome. Losing that game, but officials definitely played a role in it.
Well, I mean, but you think about it though. Draymond, he's known for
Yeah.
things like that. So it's not surprising that they ejected him. But at the same time, like it's a foul that you don't need to make. I mean, he literally grabbed the guy by his jersey and pulled him down. I mean, whether it's a double technical or whatever, I mean, I feel like it definitely should have been a technical foul. I mean, that was unnecessary. Like he didn't have to grab him by his jersey. He could have fouled him, and if he could have fouled him, yeah. But something like that doesn't need to, that doesn't need to fight. That's not part of basketball. You grab a guy, you snatch a guy, the guy goes up and you snatch him by his jersey. Like, come on, that's not basketball at all.
Yeah, it wasn't a basketball move. It's just kind of whether it was warranting to, being thrown out of a playoff game. But it was,
Yeah.
and
I mean, he got thrown out in the Cleveland series, if you remember.
yeah,
So again, and that was a,
yeah,
that was
that
a
kind of
that was
flipped
a
the
more
series.
important game. Yeah, that was a more
Yeah,
important game
and
right there than
I,
this one.
I think when you're talking 2016 Warriors, Draymond Green, I think was a lot more important. And not saying he's not important to the team,
Yeah.
but the team was, I think, was built around. You're not saying they're a bad defensive team. I think the Warriors are a good defensive team, but that team was, built on the defensive end. And this year it seems like now with the emergence, Jordan Poole, it's a
Hmm.
lot different. Make the team, but yeah, I don't definitely rolling with the Warriors in this series. If the Grizzlies were able to, come away with a victory, I think it'd be a lot different, feeling. But John Morant, that shot, got a good look in closing seconds. It just didn't go down, for the Memphis superstar. So we talked little Bucks Celtics, Heat. Uh,
Philly.
76ers, Warriors, Memphis, last, really one we have talked about, preview, and that's the Suns and Mavericks, defending Western Conference champion Suns got everything they wanted to from the upcoming Pelicans, and the um, Mavericks were able to hold off, the Jazz, both teams winning 6 games on Thursday night. So both teams should be pretty well rested, storyline, we talked about injuries, Devin Booker missed Um, about 2.5 games for the Suns. And, you know, when you can miss games in a regular season, I think you can get through it. But when
Mm-hmm.
you lose your best offensive player, the Suns definitely were missing him for that time. But they were resilient. And that's what the Suns do. And Chris Paul in Game 6 was when the Pelicans are throwing everything at the Suns. He goes 14 for 14, 33 points. Kind of kind of dug in that fountain of youth for a night there and was able to carry the Suns. So now you got the matchup at the point between Luca and Chris Paul. I you really got two team first uh, teams, with two coaches that are building, a real culture. We talk about, coaches matter in the NBA, and the kind of tone they set. In one year, Jason Kidd was able to turn the Mavericks into a lazy, undisciplined defense into, you know, a team that can get stops in crucial moments.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see that culture that Monty Williams is building, and that team. First, everybody has that role. For the Suns, taking a bunch of pieces that were on the team for a while, and then you add another coach on the court like Chris Paul
Yeah.
last year, kind of brought him over the top. So this could be the year. If the Suns can keep Booker healthy, this could be the year that they finally win that championship. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. I seen I seen a stat or heard a stat the other day saying Chris Paul, every team that he's been on, that they've been winners. He's basically turned around and they've won games where they didn't lose, and he's been in the playoffs as well. So that just speaks volumes of what type of player Chris Paul is. For him to come, to be in the league for, I think it's 18 years now, and for him to be on, he was Clippers and he was with the Pelicans, and he was Phoenix now, and he's played with all those teams, and for him to continue to have the success that he's having, that means she testaments to what type of player he is, what type of player he is, what type of person he is. For him to come in and basically, because the Phoenix, if he wasn't on the team, we wouldn't be talking about Phoenix right now. But he went over there. He went to Phoenix. Monty Williams, and he had a relationship with Monty. He played. Monty was on the Pelicans with him, and man, I tell you, he's played well. And so again, it'll be definitely be an interesting. It'll be an interesting series. Um, Going to shifting over to Dallas, Luca. I mean, they talk about how he had the calf injury, so he'll definitely be well rested and he'll be ready to play for play. But he's going to be playing against some longer well some more longer athletic guys. But again, Luca is a vet. Luca he's played in the NBA for some years for a few years now. So it's pretty much it's not any defense that he can't read and he can't dissect. So he's a really smart player. Like he knows when to take his shot. He knows when to pass the ball. Um, he does everything he needs to do. He's actually gotten better on defense. He was and coming in. I think he was ranked excuse me like 280 something, and ranked 280 something, as a defensive player, and now he's up to like 150 something. And that was one thing that J Kidd, he challenged him. He sat him down and talked to him about it, like, this is where you are now, and he challenged him to step his, to play their defense, because at the end of the day, if you're a superstar on a team, if you can't play some type of defense, then your team is going to struggle, because at the end of the day, like you gotta have some type of discipline, as a player, to try to at least guard somebody. And so that being said, that's one of the things that's kind of that's hurt Harden over the years. Harden, was just great offensive player, especially during the regular season. But then, like he never played any, he doesn't play any defense, and it's still the same thing. And now he's not really producing on offense like he has been, and his defense is still not as good. So again, any superstar, uh, you gotta put some type of effort on defense. You have to, because again, like I said, if you're a superstar, other players they follow you. And if the superstar is not putting in any defense effort, then um, that kind of it trickles down to the rest of the guys. I mean, Steph Curry is not the greatest defensive player, but he tries. I mean, he tries hard, whatever. But then, like I said, his scoring, he uses scoring to help the team win. But again, he does defense. Um, Again, with that series, Phoenix and Memphis. I'm going with Memphis. I know you like Dallas. I know you're going with Dallas, but I'm going with I mean I'm going with Phoenix. Sorry, I like Phoenix a lot in this series. I know you're going with Dallas. That's I mean that's your team, but and I think Luca's gonna play great. But again, I don't. They're not going to be able to spread. They're not going to be able to spread Phoenix out like they did Utah. Um, they're not going to be able to do that. So again, I'm going with them. Rudy Gobert, he can guard him. He can guard anybody, but those guys in the Phoenix, they can really guard. So I'm going Phoenix.
No, yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that. I think
Oh,
it's
you're
gonna
not disagreeing, really? I can't
well,
believe that.
you know, I
Hey,
gotta be honest. I gotta be honest.
hey, look, be confident in your team. Be confident in your team.
Oh, I am confident. I'm cheering my heart out, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't make it. I feel like gotta be non-biased here a little bit with my.
So
Um,
you'll have too much confidence in your team. In other words, you don't think y'all
I,
gonna win,
I'm
right?
just happy. It's 2011 to 2022 is a long time without going out winning of a series. So we're
Yeah,
happy to get on the first round. So, but matchups. Like we talked about Luca, Chris Paul, but another. Would Dallas want to be here without the emergence of Jalen Brunson?
yeah.
Just
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, Luca came in as a superstar, and I said, "Well, you want from fifth pick in the draft." But when you go to the second round, you're hoping to find a role player, and that's kind of what I thought with Jalen Brunson.
Hmm.
Kind of little each year getting a little bit better, and then now I mean dropping 40 in the playoffs. Almost 30 points a
Yeah.
game.
He playing great.
He just he gets to his spot. He can get his shot off. And
Real
uh,
crafty. Real
yeah,
crafty.
great ball handler, great footwork. Well schooled. Kind of what you expect from somebody who played at Villanova for 4 years. Uh, but so his emergence kind of gives you confidence. And mix that in with Dinwiddie coming off the bench. But it's that role players. You need those role. That Dorian Finney-Smith. Defensive stopper out there. Humongous amount of minutes along with the Reggie Bullock. Those are guys that aren't going to beat you other than really the 3-point shot offensively.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, but at the same time, their ability to lock down anybody really on the court. Minus they'll probably guard all four players on the court minus DeAndre Ayton. um,
Hmm.
but that's where I think the Suns could really hurt the Mavericks. Are not a good off or defense rebounding team. No matter who they play, they always get killed on the board. So you kind of look for Ayton and McGee off the bench or
Yeah.
Bismack Biyombo, who's ever out there to really punish the Mavericks. Whether it's Maxi Kleber at the 5 or Powell. And Maxi Kleber is a great individual defender. That's why he's out there in the games because he can switch off on players. But Powell, um, he's long and athletic. Him and Luca are great on the pick and roll. But when it comes to end the game, you don't want him out there because A, not a great foul shooter, and B, he's not great because he can't guard the perimeter. So basically, when those two are your five, you're gonna get hurt on that rebound.
Yeah,
I mean, that's kind
yeah.
of been the MO all year. But at the same time, I think we talk about Paul and Booker for the Suns. But what fuels this team, the role players, whether it be Miles Bridges, Jay Crowder, those guys, are, the Cameron Payne off the bench, guys is consist you know, that numbers you
Hmm.
talked about winning numbers in Phoenix, like there's no drop off, they just keep on hitting it, and that's they kind of wear you
Yeah.
down, like Booker may be a superstar, but kind of like that Miami Heat way of just grind it out, keep hitting it with no drop off and talent, and um, it really uh, a tough matchup. I think that's why they had so much success, because everybody buys into their role for the Phoenix Suns. Erwin, you might have lost, I again, Aaron was saying, as a Maverick fan, I want to be, hoping they win, but I'm really, I think it's gonna be tough because experience that the Suns have, coming off a finals run last year, see um, what kind of push the Mavericks can have this year. We're trying to get Irwin back here. I think he just restarted. Out there, what are you guys looking for in the playoffs this year? This, we didn't Eastern Conference. I'm hoping we get Embiid back healthy for the 76ers. Um, kind of challenge the Heat. We'll hope. We'll see if we know we won't get Middleton back. Right? It looks like we got Irwin back here. Sorry, I don't know what happened there, but we're glad to have you back here. So we're at the just kind of recapping. We'll give our predictions. Right now what we think is going to happen in each round. For this round here, and then maybe go some news and notes before we close it out. So we'll start back. The 76ers and Heat. What's your thoughts on this series, Aaron? Prediction. Uh, maybe here. Still okay. Still. Hmm. So looking at let's go some news and those people. Well, we get Aaron out. We're in the final three candidates for the Sacramento King coaching vacancy. You know, I Steve Clifford, former Hornets coach, uh, Mike Brown, current Golden State or assistant coach, and then also Mark Jackson, ABC commentator, former Golden State head coach at Final Three, uh, finals for Sacramento Kings. We'll see who's going to get that coaching. Erwin, you back? So we'll see. Then also we have the coaching vacancy in Los Angeles. The Lakers, they've kind of been quiet. It leads me to believe that they're really looking one of the coaches that are in the playoffs right now to see if they have um, any thoughts on their coach going
Yeah.
forward. Oh, so we got Erwin back. We're just kind of going over news and notes about the Kings coaching vacancy, and then we also haven't heard much from Los Angeles and their coaching vacancy.
Wait, we keeping everything on the hush. We're not releasing our information yet.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. I think they might be looking at a coach in the playoffs right now that they're eyeing. So maybe a Doc Rivers. We'll see.
uh,
But
uh,
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, well,
I'm
just the
look,
Lakers, they're
I'm
gonna
not.
go.
And look, I'm not. I mean, I like Doc Rivers, but I'm not high on him as being the. I'm not high on him as being the head coach or whatever. Like I don't, I know he wanted to tie in Boston, but still, I don't think. I think he's a good coach, but I don't think he's a coach that is the one that can lead them. Like honestly, but
I don't know, and I don't even know if the Lakers know. They just kind of been hush hush, about this whole situation. So I
well,
think they're,
you know the King's gonna have a say so in it, so it's not gonna be just in. He's gonna definitely gonna have a say so.
yeah, I, yeah, you got to make your star player happy.
That's true.
So we'll see. He wasn't great at putting that team together. Hopefully, he's better at picking a coach. So
he was. He wasn't. He this time he wasn't. He wasn't good at all.
yeah, I know. Yeah, now they're gonna. That's we could talk about they're in a really a bad situation with that Russell Westbrook contract. And
Oh, terrible,
you
terrible,
know,
man.
I mean, they're. I don't know how they're gonna get out under that without giving up the house to give it somebody to take that contract. So we'll see.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I just say the Kings' final three is Steve Clifford, former Hornets coach, um, Mark Jackson, former Warriors coach, ABC commentator, and then current Warriors assistant coach Mike Brown, who coached
mm,
um, the Lakers and the Cavaliers
yeah,
previous.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
had some success with not much success with the Lakers, but had some success with the Cavaliers back in the day. So let's go back, before to the prediction, final prediction for this round, with the 76ers and Heat.
Miami.
Yeah, I think we both agree, especially the injury to Joel Embiid. How long he's gonna be out, and I think if they're healthy, I would probably pick the Heat. But
Yeah.
definitely without Embiid, But we'll see with James Harden.
Well,
Hopefully,
yeah, we're gonna see. 'Cause like he said, he said last series, and like no pressure on him. It's pressure now, brother. It's
yeah.
pressure.
And they gotta need Tyrese Maxey to kind of step up his game. Everybody else,
Everybody's gonna have to step up. It's
Tobias
not.
Harris.
Yeah.
There's talent on that team, but
Yeah, it's
kind
yeah.
of
Look, we don't doubt that. We don't doubt the talent. It's just about are those guys going to produce enough to fill that void?
yeah, but I mean, Harden's gonna see a lot of Jimmy Butler, see a lot of Kyle Lowry, a lot of, he ain't gonna get any easy shots in this series for sure.
Yeah.
We already saw, game one between the Celtics and Bucks with the Milwaukee taking it. Any prediction on that?
Ooh, man, Milwaukee boy, I tell you. um, you know what that's probably gonna be probably the for me. I think it's probably gonna be the toughest series to predict. Just because again, Boston. I mean, the way Boston has defended. But again, it's tough finding Giannis. He's. I mean, he can play so many different positions on the floor, and so it's different. It's not the same as when Boston played against the Nets. They Kevin Durant. They put Marcus. They switched Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, and Tatum. They did that. It's totally different now with Giannis. Giannis is more of a physical player. Um, than Kevin Durant. So again, so that switching, which you switch him on, any one of those guys, it's a mismatch for him. If they playing him at the 2, 3, or whatever position they may play him at. So it's gonna be tough. Um, it's gonna be tough for them for him. But I'm gonna go Milwaukee. I'm gonna go Milwaukee on this. Championship pedigree. Uh, they have they've been through the war, and like I said, they've turned up their intensity, even without Chris Middleton. They still had missed a beat without him. But again, I think it'll be a really good series. I think it'll go down to maybe 6, 7 games. But again, I'm going Milwaukee.
Yeah, kind of. I'm in agreement there. Especially I know it's just one game today, but what I saw of that team, they were ready to,
Yeah,
they went 1-1 against the Bulls last series, and they turned it up, and they haven't really looked back since then. So
since then, not at
yeah,
all.
injury to Middleton and all, they're just gonna keep going. They're gonna keep playing their game, grind it out defensively, and have
Hmm.
and Katapis, do his thing, along with making a lot of threes. That's the game's pretty simple in that, guys. But gonna go Milwaukee also with that one. Let's go to Western Conference. We talked a lot about the Warriors and Grizzlies. With the Warriors winning Game 1, 117, 116 today. Uh, you going the Warriors? This
Yeah,
one?
championship
Yeah,
pedigree.
yeah,
Um, I mean, Memphis. I like them. They're young. It's a learning. This right here is a learning experience for them. Even though they learned a lot in the last series against the Timberwolves, but again, now it's something total. It's a different beast. These are champions. They've won multiple championships for a reason. And so when you playing against teams like that, you gotta do what every possession counts. But it's more important, even more important when you play that because they can punish you. Golden State can punish you. Within a heartbeat, and and they're clicking on all cylinders on the offensive end right now. And they're playing pretty good defense as well. So it's definitely gonna be interesting to see how Memphis will try to um, bounce back in game two. So I'm going Warriors though.
yeah. Kind of agreeing. Hoping hope it's a long series. Hope it gets when you games that are neutral kind of as you just want good basketball, and that's what we
Hmm.
got today. So hopefully we have
Hmm.
more games like that. Um, and then lastly, Mavericks and Suns. Um, going with Phoenix.
Yeah, definitely going Phoenix. Definitely going Phoenix. I just again Phoenix is a team they still have a chip on the shoulder. They got Booker back. Um, Again, I just don't think that Dallas will be able to spread them like they did against Utah. Aiden and McGee, they can actually step out and they can guard those stretch 4 or 5 guys, stretch 4 or 5, position players. So it'll be a different ball game. And then, like you said earlier, that rebounding and stuff like that will be key. I think they'll rebound the ball well. So I'm gonna go. I'm definitely going with. I'm going Phoenix.
Yeah,
I know you don't like to say it. Go ahead and say it. Say it.
no,
Say it. Say it.
as a, I'll go Phoenix winning the series, but that's not what I want.
But, but
We'll
you're,
see.
you're but you're, they say you're Dallas at heart. They say the Mavs. Go ahead and say the Mavs going to win.
Yeah, well,
Go ahead and
let's
say
go.
it.
Let's go Mavs in 7 because I think if they're gonna win, it's gonna be in 7. They're gonna
Yeah. Okay. So you like
play.
Mavs in 7. Okay.
They're gonna have to play that energy, and just that
Mm.
defending. What? Yeah. It's just seeing. We'll kind of end with this. We talked a little bit about this. That the culture that some of these coaches, even in Boston, rough day today, but Ime Adoka, what
Yeah.
he's done in Boston,
Yeah.
is amazing. I'm sure in your day of playing pro basketball, you've had coaches that everybody's got strengths and weaknesses, but it seems
Hmm.
like finding these coaches that just connect with the teams. Even in New Orleans with Willie Green, the connection he has with his team, the buying
Yep.
in, that matters. You don't. You've seen guys with great X's and O's, and you need those on the sidelines as assistants. But the head coaches, it seems like if you can find that coach that can just connect, especially with the star players, and that kind of build from there, it can, if your star players buy in, like in Boston, Tatum and Brown, or Jason Kidd with Luca, it kind of trickles down to the rest of the team, and that's what you saw Monty Williams, be able to do that with Phoenix, even before Chris Paul got there with Devin Booker and Ayton, and bring in a guy like Chris Paul,
Hmm.
just the culture, matters in the NBA, and teams that just love to play. I'll go back to the Mavs and Jazz series. You got the Mavs, you got players on the bench who are not going to play in the game. And what are they doing the whole game? They're cheering. They're out
Yeah,
there
yeah.
encouraging. You look at the Jazz bench, and you got a bunch of older vets. A Rudy Gay. I'm throwing Rudy Gay in the bus, but he's probably not excited to sit on a bench for 48 minutes. He's not going to go, but it just matters, and you can see when teams buy in from top to bottom, and
Uh-huh.
you see, you see that um, in a lot of the teams that have success is just that culture that the coach, the building. And I think that's what we're going to find in these new coaches, the next round of coaches that worked in this round, finding, those younger, coaches, can relate to the players, and then they just buy in, and what's your thoughts on that?
I agree. You have coaches. It takes um, a really good coach to be able to coach any team. I think, and to coach a NBA team with players that with the type of talent that they have on them. It's not an easy job, but like you said, somebody like, for example, Willie Green, you take him, and he's been groomed for so many years, for that position, and he's come in, and the success he's had, in his first year with the Pelicans. I know they started off rocky, but they ended up, through the trade and stuff, they got C.J. McCollum, which has been big for them, and Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram has been playing absolutely amazing, and then with the role players, they got some good guys like rookies, Murphy and Herb Jones and Eldorado. Those guys came in, and they didn't play like rookies. They played like they've been in the league 3 or 4 years, and I think that helped give them an edge, and against a lot of other teams. Um, Again, Willie Green, like I said, he's been groomed for so many years, and when it was time for him to step into the light, he's been producing, and he's done this with his team, and Monty Williams, I mean, he just, I mean, speaks for itself. I mean, everybody talks about how him as a character. You have a team, have players, excuse me, and they buy into your philosophy, especially your star players. Then it kind of trickle down to it, especially the coach knows what he's talking about. And the players respect him, and he's respected around the league. And so Monty's, he's going to continue to have success just for the type of player, the type of coach that he is, and the type of players that rally around him. So he's going to continue to do what he's doing now. And like I said, if there's anybody deserving a title, I think Monty Williams, he definitely deserves one.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of good, guys. It's easy to cheer for. Monty Williams, Chris Paul, and Suns. They're yeah. Well, Monty Williams will be coaching for a while, I'm assuming. But as a player, Chris Paul's window is not much left in the But so hopefully he gets his title here sooner than later. So we got a lot of basketball there, to watch here in the next week. See where we are in the conference semifinals. See who's ready to advance. Again, hopefully we get some good quality basketball. Entertaining. Games.
It'll
That's
definitely be
bummer.
entertaining. It'll definitely be entertaining. Like it'll be some good stuff. I mean, the playoffs have been really good. They've been really good. Even the play-in game and all that. They've been really competitive. Hats off to the NBA. I mean, those games have been really competitive. The players, they come out and they hadn't slacked. So it's a good thing.
Absolutely. So we'll catch up again soon and see where we're at. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
All right. Sounds good. Everybody enjoy the next week of basketball. And again, follow us on all our social media platforms. Again, if you like us, leave a ratings review on Apple Podcasts. We'll enjoy that. Again, everybody enjoy this next week of NBA playoffs. Good night.
Good night.
How'd you call? Probably tomorrow morning off the message. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Okay, I'll get it after if I have enough time after I help you mom in. So if not, I'll be able to